Hi, everybody. Ingrid Crepeau again. And this time, my crafty thoughts are about neodymium magnets. These things are so amazing. You probably have heard of the term rare earth magnet. This is one of those. There are several kinds of rare earth magnets. This one is neodymium. I love these things. Look at this. Look at this. I take a magnet and I set it on the table there. Then I take another magnet and I put it on the back of my hand. Ta-da! Isn't that amazing? The magnetism goes right through my whole hand. They're just incredible. Now, there are several kinds of these magnets. I should say strengths. There are N42s. That's the kind I usually use. And N52s. They're even stronger than what you just saw. So N42s I like because if I accidentally get two magnets stuck together, I'm actually strong enough to pull them apart. If I get two N52s stuck together, forget it. I got to ask somebody else who's stronger than I am to get them apart. But there are some dangers that you have to be aware of. First of all, these magnets are so strong they will stop a pacemaker and any other kind of internal medical device. So if you know somebody with these, please stay far away. Or if you have one yourself, of course. Now, the other danger is that you can really get pinched. I've been pinched really bad. Get two magnets and you get skin between them, they get stuck, your skin, and you'll get a blood blister, and it's painful. So be careful how you don't get them stuck together. Anyway, the other danger is these are made out of rare earth. These are not metal. They have iron ore in them, but they are made out of dirt, and they're coated with something shiny. So they look like metal, but they're not metal. It's just a coating. And that because they're just made out of dirt, they can break just like a coffee mug that just shatter into pieces. In fact, the first time I ever had two N52s, I was holding them and they got out of my hand. The attraction was so strong, they just leapt out of my hand and smashed each other in the middle. And the edges on what's broken are very sharp, like razor blades. So be very careful with broken magnets. They are nasty things. And also they're expensive, so don't break them. It's hard. There are 4 ways I attach these magnets. And if you look, there's a style of magnet here. It's a bar magnet right over here. Here we go. And these bar magnets, you can get them with screw holes in them. You see how they're indented? So I screw these to set pieces, and that way I can hold props that you need to get to in a hurry. So they're very useful that way. That's one way. Now, if I'm putting them on fabric, I make little pockets of fabric. I put my magnet into the pocket, and then I will stitch this to whatever part of a puppet needs to have something that sticks. Another way is really hard to get apart because I shouldn't put them together that way. They're just tape between magnets, so they really stick hard. And, oh boy, come on. Here we go. I will use duct tape. Duct tape is great if you want to put the magnet onto cross-linked foam, that dense foam, because cross-linked foam works great with hot glue. You can't glue a magnet. First of all, you don't want a magnet to get hot because that's the only thing that will kill its magnetism. So I will put this tape on them, put it onto the foam, and then glue the tape to the foam, and then the magnet will be stuck to the foam. Ouch. Okay. Ouch. I'm being careless. Sorry about that. Now, the last way you can attach them is you can indent them into things like wood and then cover them up with something firm. So these are special bits. Some people call them flat hole bits. They originally were called Forstner bits. Now lots of different brands make them, but Forstner invented them. So that you can see it drills a flat hole. I even use this in cross-linked foam. I will drill into the foam, make a hole that fits the depth of the magnet, take the magnet in, and then glue fabric around it so that I can attach it to the foam, or I'll put tape on it and glue it into the hole that way. Or, or if you're going to put it into plywood, I will drill a hole the exact depth, put the plywood in, staple fabric around it, glue fabric around it. So this is a very handy thing to know about. Forstner bits, Forstner style bits. And now, this is one of my uses that I use a lot of these days. This is my dummy throne, where the ventriloquist dummy can sit in the chair on a stand. Like all puppetry, you need to be able to make things as small as possible for traveling. So the back goes in and out of the chair. There's a slot back here that it slides in, but the upright is held together with two neodymium magnets. Excuse me. All right, so you see, that's pretty tough. It works like a charm. Now I'm going to show you one of my puppets. This is a puppet I made. We use this puppet in our show called Dinosaur Babies because we primarily perform that show for preschoolers, and preschoolers are actually afraid of dinosaurs. So we figured if we get them giggling a lot before we start, it will help with their fears, with their love-hate relationship with dinosaurs. And you can see why I wear a hat for the flyaway hair. All right, this is Ella. This is as close as I get to being a ventriloquist. Ella is, of course, the misbehaving puppet. She's always doing things like sucking on her toes, and then we go, no, Ella, don't do that. And then, of course, she'll do it again. But my favorite thing she does, she takes her hat off, of course, as babies want to do, and she throws it on the ground. Do you expect me to pick that up? Okay, I'll pick it up. But of course, I can put it back on her head because she has marvelous magnets in her hat. Did you see how they jumped into place? With a floppy hat would be very hard to put on with one hand without the magnets. The magnets in hats is actually how I discovered these magnets. When I first worked for the Nationals baseball team, they asked me if I would make a new baseball cap for Screech the Eagle because the one was worn out. So I made a new cap, and what I discovered in the old one that I was remaking was it had magnets all around inside the cap and all around the head. And that's how he could wear a baseball cap, a fairly large size baseball cap. Now, the whole thing with magnets started with mascots because fans would actually yell at them during the national anthem to take their hat off. It was, not appropriate to wear a hat in the national anthem. And of course they couldn't because the hat was stitched to their head. So everybody started using these wonderful neodymium magnets. Yes, neodymium magnets. Yes, yes, yes. Right. My friend Tom Dahl said to me at the convention last summer, he said, Al Good is retired. There's nobody providing performance boards and stands for the vent community. So I said, well, I'll give it a try. This is one of my performance boards. This is made out of a fabric that takes Velcro. So it will stick to the bottom of your soles of your puppets. In fact, the bottom of the board also takes Velcro so that you could put Velcro on a little curtain like this and hide your props up underneath the board. Now, I have other kinds of boards. This is one that doesn't have Velcro on top. It's just a padded board. And I put nice fringe on it. I have all kinds of styles. Or just tell me what you want. But on the bottom, it still takes Velcro. You can put a curtain around and hide props underneath the performance board. And then I went to my good friend Barry Gordimer. You probably all have seen him on Facebook. He makes those wonderful, incredible soft sculpture vent figures. And so I borrowed Grandpa Oompapa. This is Grandpa Oompapa. And then I got a wicked idea. I thought, well, ventriloquists put Velcro on the bottom of their shoes. What if I put magnets in the feet? Yes, that's what I did, Grandpa. I drilled holes in your shoes. Don't tell Barry, okay? I'll replace them with other shoes. And I glued them in. And now, because I also have magnets in the board, Grandpa Papa can stand on the board. Look. Pretty good, huh? It stays there. In fact, the very first time I put Grandpa on the board, I put his shoes on the board, and then I lifted Grandpa off, and the shoes stayed, but Grandpa didn't. So then Barry also had to sew the shoes onto Grandpa. They're easy. I can get them off real easy. Yes, I promise. Okay. Well, now, wait a minute. Who left their cell phone on? You did? You think it's you? Okay. Well, let's see. Magnets. What a great way to hold props. All right. So Grandpa can hold his own phone. And then when he's finished, I can take the phone and I can stick it under the board because I put a magnet under there. Now I'm just showing off. This is one of my larger performance boards, and the large ones come on a heavy-duty stand for heavy-duty figures. That's my heavy-duty stand. And the heavy-duty stand can go on wheels so that you can wheel your characters around if you want to, if you need to. And this is what I call a dummy dummy. This is an experimental dummy, a test dummy, if you like. I made him so that I could try out some weird things and see what I could do. For instance, would you like to stand up? Okay, I put magnets in his feet, and I put magnets in the board, and then he can stand up. And he's there. Did you see that, how the magnets popped into place? Yeah, sometimes you have to do that, jiggle it around. Now, watch this. Can you think you could sit down? You sure? I've never tried this before. Well, let's see. Okay, here we go. There we go. He stood up and sat down. I can't do that with Velcro. Neodymium magnets. They're amazing.